primary to be held in February of 2008, I believe it could be possible that part of our request of the state would be to let this special election fill the unexpired terms or the balance of the terms of these positions that are now available, and those people would not have to go through another election in February. Mr. McKay, would you agree to that? In other words, we can say this special election applies for the balance of this term, and those people would not be subject to going through another primary or general election in 2008.
You're asking the wrong guy.
Well, but it could be done, is what I'm saying. Do you know of any reason it couldn't be done?
Not right off.
Okay. So that would prevent these folks from running for office now and then having to run again in a year. Could we ask that the special election do that?
The only reason I hesitate is, Director, did not the Supreme Court say we had to fill until the next general election? Or
that is the import of the law of the Constitution that the Supreme Court cites, okay? That the county legislative body makes the replacements. The successors hold office until the next county-wide general election.
Well, I'm not trying to complicate things, but I do want to say that I have talked to Senators Woodson and Burchett. Both are most receptive to try to help the constituents of Knox County, which are also their constituents. And I have been told that if this body requests of them what we're talking about in the form of a resolution, they cannot ignore it. They would be most happy to take it to the state. They would be most happy to expedite the request of the county commission and have an answer as early as possible. How early is that? I don't know. I think perhaps early February is being optimistic, but the only way that you're going to get the people involved in the process, or the best way to get them involved in the process, is to let them vote. Anything else, you can talk about involving the public and let's have public forums and public meetings. At the end of the day, my suspicion is that those of us that are leaving office are going to be asked to make a recommendation. And, my recommendation may or may not be based on what those people at the meeting show up, because you may have, it's not a full and open process unless the people get to vote. So I'm going to support Commissioner Grease's motion. I seconded it. And let the state legislature go to bat for us. It may be that we can have these positions filled by May the 1st. And that's a far better cry than where we're headed right now.
Okay, Commissioner Good, is that by majority or two-thirds? Because I've seen it two-thirds.
My understanding is it's just a simple majority, unless the law director has found something different.
Well, what our legislative delegation has said is that they will certainly honor any request by a legislative body if it passes by two-thirds vote. And that's to request special legislation, a private act. So from what I understand, they require a two-thirds vote, which would be 13.
Well, no, let me say this, Mr. Law Director. If we pass it with 10 votes and we send it to them and they turn us down because we only had 10, then shame on them.
That's
Let
fine.
them make that decision, not us.
That's fine. I'm just restating what they have said publicly.
Did you know that last week when you and I talked?
Nope.
Okay, Commissioner Smith.
Mr. Chairman, I think it'll help us, and I don't know what the whole game plan, what we want to do. You're wanting to meet next week. Can you walk us through what you're wanting to do and how the meeting will go? I'm like Commissioner Hammond. I'm sort of back and forth. I mean, I could go ahead and vote now, but I want to know how how the meeting's going to do, where the people get to speak. If I'm a candidate from Farragut, will I be able to speak and give you something, or is there no speaking allowed? What game plan do you have?
Okay, this is just me. This is how I think we should proceed. I think over the next week to 29th, I think I wrote it down somewhere, have people send resumes either to the commission office and to the commissioners in their district. Because how many times are we up here on zoning issues that people say, listen to the commissioners in our district. You don't live down here. We don't want these 15 houses built beside me. These commissioners know our area. They know what we want. I hope you pay some attention to them. And now we're saying, well, we just ought to let somebody vote on it. And I don't think there's anybody on this commission that just don't want the citizens' input. An election would be great, but I just don't think we have the time to do that. We took an oath to uphold the charter, to uphold the state constitution, and now we're trying to get out of what we took an oath to do. And I know there's times like these right now. It's tough. We're getting a lot of calls. We have a lot of people interested, but that's the process. And if we go outside of that process, we're doing what we complain the most about, some people legislating from the bench instead of doing what the law says. I believe in law. I was a policeman for 14 years. I respect the justice's decision. I wish they could probably done us a little better on direction, but they didn't. So we're dealing with what they gave us to do. And, we're a land of laws. And, Mr. Law Director, the things that I've talked to you about is certainly, I think, does it go right down the way the law says the appointments are made on this commission?
Right. What the chair and I have discussed is the procedure that's laid out in the Knox County Charter itself and in the commission rules. Basically, we proceed as we have in the past in making appointments and filling vacancies.
I don't think anybody would ever imagine that we'd have 12 seats to fill at one time. But the fact of the matter is I've done 5 of them since I've been on this commission, I believe. And they've all worked out pretty well. The thing we have to be most careful right now is that we get qualified people to serve in these positions on an interim basis until we have a public election. That's our job. And, if we didn't have to make tough decisions sometimes, there'd be a lot more people running. But, when I ran just last year, there was only 2 people qualified in the 7th District seat B to run. That was me and my opponent. And they knew when they voted for either one of us that this day would come sometime down the road that we're going to make hard decisions. But that's why you elect people, to make these decisions. We're going to take public input, and I think Commissioner Smith, I think people submit resumes to the commissioners in the district, if they want to the county commission office as well. I think that's great. I hope they do it sooner than later and not come up at the last minute. I think by probably Monday, January 29th, in my mind, would be a day that we cut off. Certainly, I think nominations, if someone comes in after that, can be nominated by our rules and the state statute, if I'm correct. But I hope people come out early so they get a chance for the newspaper and the media to be in contact and talk to them. I think commissioners in your district can do whatever you want. I think if you want to have a meeting at the library or you want to have a meeting at a restaurant and tell people if they're interested, come out. People will be able to shake their hands and meet them. But I don't think that we need to let people get out here and run campaigns because the people with the most money is going to win in a short race. And I think that doesn't do the citizens of Knox County well either. I think the most important thing in this time is that we put qualified people that will do the job for the next 13 months till the public has an election to pick who they want to serve for the next couple of years, till the next election in 2010. So that's kind of how I think it should go. Follow state law. I think if we go outside state law, we're doing things that we criticize other people for doing.
Well, here's a question that I've got. Yeah, if we can take it to the people, let's let them do it. Can I make a vote? Yeah, I can make a vote. I got in politics over 30 years ago because I wanted to make an educated vote. And me having somebody say, well, for such and such district way or the other in town, yeah, I can trust him, but I want to make sure that for my district that I've researched that individual, that I know who that individual is, and I'd like to at least have some candidates be able to give us some dialogue